Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
Well, good morning and thanks for joining us again today on Living Local Carolina. I'm your host, Katie Turner, and today we're going to be seeing one of our favorite spots here on the Grand Strand, and we think you're going to love it. Well, thanks so much for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. Today I have a special treat. I'm joined by Cecile Walks Peace. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We have a lot to talk about today. First, we're going to talk about this book that you recently wrote, your first debut when it comes to children's books.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is Gigi's Gems, The Queen, and it is a children's picture book beautifully illustrated by Cameron Wilson. And it talks a little bit about 3 children and their queen, their great-grandmother, Gigi.
And this has a very special meaning in your life, right?
It does. So this book is loosely based on my mom. My mom is dealing right now with dementia, and it talks about how families can approach, can process, and can persevere through some pretty tough topics.
This is something that's super important for children to learn.
Yes.
How do you do that in the book?
So this particular book, this is book 1 in a series of 5 books, right? So this first book allows the reader to just fall in love with the characters, fall in love with the idea of family, fall in love with the idea of the genius of children, and kindness, which our world really needs more of. And in doing so, the children who love mostly on their grandmother and her regal attire and her way that she presents herself, they are able to learn a lifetime of memories, of Gigi's amazing memories, by unlocking her memories with a specific key that's revealed in the text.
Okay, I don't want you to give too much away, but
Yes.
Can you tell me what Gigi's Gems are?
Right.
Are they actual gems, or are they? Okay, they're gems.
Yes,
Very cool.
So my mom, Irma Walks, she, by anyone who knows her, knows that she always has this regal stature about her. She's always draped in gems. She is beautifully brown. She's head to toe sharp, as the kids would say. So her gems, each of them has a particular meaning, right? Each of them has a particular story. So when the children land on that, that's when they discover her waterfall of memories.
That is beautifully put. Beautifully put. Okay, so tell me, what is the plan for the future?
So the plan for the future with Gigi's Gems, The Queen, and the subsequent books that follow is to allow the world to have more awareness around Alzheimer's as well as dementia. I believe right now the association says that there are over 6 million families that are dealing with this particular disease. And having the opportunity, my mom's an educator, I'm an educator, and to have that opportunity to educate children around topics that are tough, families that are themselves trying to process something that's extremely difficult. And oftentimes when those difficult, tough topics happen, we tend to go a little silent when it comes to our children, right? We just don't talk about certain things. It's the adult world. This is the perfect launching pad for families to be able to understand, to process, to persevere through topics like dementia.
Let's talk about your history as an author. You are an educator, Teacher of the Year, but you've been writing for quite some time.
I have been writing for a bit, yes. So about 2 decades ago, I had a friend of mine ask me to just co-author, or better yet, I would like to say ghostwrite behind her on a particular text. And from that point on, I've been on a couple of other projects over the years, primarily in education for myself, but still doing this. And you know, God doesn't waste anything. So tackling the education of children, my love for science, and then the opportunity to ghostwrite with other fellow authors who are amazing, and then to land with an illustrator like Cameron Wilson, was just perfect moment altogether.
All worked out perfectly.
Yes, it did, thank God.
Okay, so for the people that are interested in purchasing Gigi's Gems, The Queen, where can they do that?
Online, Target, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. And primarily our website, walksinpeace.com. Come check us out.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Well, welcome back to Living Local Carolina. Today I'm joined by Quadre Stuckey. We're talking about beautiful, beautiful artwork with a rich cultural heritage. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm blessed. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me today.
We're going to do a lot of fun stuff, but first I want to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
I want you to kind of walk me through your creative process when it comes to this.
So when it comes to my creative process with the artwork, I like to visualize what I'm going to do first in my mind, and then I like to, draw it or sketch it on the canvas. And then once I sketch it on the canvas, I like to add that paint to bring it to life.
And you have quite a history.
Yes.
Why did you get into art in the first place?
I would say art is like my God-given talent. It wasn't something I had to try hard with. It was something that would naturally come to me that just kind of flows easy. So I wanted to use that and share my gift with the world.
I would say that when you look at your art, I was taking a look at your portfolio, and
Yes.
a lot of it is so striking.
Yes.
You have such a unique look.
Yes.
How would you describe your art, though?
I mean, I would describe my art as kind of like a mixture between like contemporary pop art and then low country Gullah lifestyle series. That's what I say, because that's our history and rich culture in Charleston, South Carolina, where I'm from. So it's about that Gullah lifestyle, maintaining the culture and the heritage. So I'm just telling the story through my artwork.
Why is that important to you?
I feel like it's important because if you don't tell your own story, somebody else will tell your story and control your narrative. So it's better for you to keep your own history and pass it down to the generations to come, like your grandkids, your great grandkids, and your children, to let them know where they came from and what you did to make it here where you're at today.
And how does it feel whenever people see your art for the first time?
It feels amazing because, with artwork, it speaks to everybody different. You know what I'm saying? People get happy, people get excited, people get, filled with joy. So, I mean, me inside, that's just a good, heartwarming feeling that I feel every time that people see it, experience it, and then they just love it and fall in love with it.
And what would you say is the toughest part of the process for you?
The toughest part of the process was, I'd probably say, selling it, because, these are like my kids, and then somebody wants to buy it, you gotta let it go and then not look back. But, at the same time, I could just paint another one.
And speaking of, if someone is interested in purchasing your art or taking a look,
Yes.
How can they do that?
Well, they could go online to my website, www.quaddesigns.net, or they could go onto my nonprofit site, www.GullaGeeChee.FamilyFoundation.com, purchase the artwork.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Quadre. I
Yes.
appreciate you visiting me today.
Definitely.
Well, it is a hot and sunny day here on Pawleys Island, and I am joined by Mr. Thomas Williams. How are you doing?
Great, hot, but I'm still here.
Yeah, we're holding in there. But tell me about you and what you do.
Well, my name is Thomas Williams. My telephone number is 814-8598. Area code is 843. I live in McClennanville, but I come from McClennanville to Pawleys Island for the last 29, 30 years. And I also come 4 days a week. And I love it. And I don't think I see no way I'm going to stop.
Now, what do you do?
I do the, if you see the stick I got, I do the cobra, I do the owl, I do the rattlesnakes, I do the fish, the flounder, the rainbow trout, the catfish, wide-mouthed bass. If you name it, I can do it.
Now, how did you learn that you could actually do this?
Or at my father, 3 generations back, and my older brother showed me because my father had passed away. And he showed me how to do it, and then after that it's just history. But some of the things, like my brother couldn't do a cobra, he couldn't do an alligator, which a whole alligator, that's what I do also. The big flounders, or he could have made just regular sticks.
But you can get a little fancy with it.
Yes,
huh?
I just gotta, if I see it in with my eyes, I don't have to have a picture. I can automatically draw it.
That is so cool.
Yes.
You're able to hand carve these sticks, and
Right.
then you even paint them and seal them, and they're very functional as much as they're beautiful.
Right. If you see this one, this is what you call a honeysuckle vine wrapped around a cherry. The head is a put on. So this is got a rod, a steel rod, not anything else in there but a steel rod. So in case if you drop it, it won't break.
Okay, so you're out here 4 days a week. Can you tell me the address and where people can find you?
Yes, you can find me at 1061-5 Paula's Island, near the bakery.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Welcome back to Living Local Carolina. I'm Katie Turner, and boy, do we have something going on in the studio today. I'm joined by Wade Johnson, the Director of Bands at Benedict College. How are you?
I am fantabulous, Ms. Turner. Thank you for having me. Shout out to all the Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. How are you? Home of the BCBOD. Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into it now.
Okay.
You are quite the personality. You have so much experience when it comes to music. This is something that is truly a love for you.
Yes, it is.
Why?
It's a passion because I believe getting started as a late bloomer, I actually believe that is a calling. And when I say my passion, my ministry is what I was called to do because I wanted to do something else. I wanted to be a professional football player, of course. All men in small towns from McClellanville, South Carolina, wanted to be professional athletes. But anywho, due to an injury, trying to play football, and whoop whoop, I saw the band. The band got in the game tree. The band were having a good time. They were eating, and I was like, I think I can do that. And guess what? I didn't have to pay to go in anymore after I joined the band. So
All
basically,
right.
that's how it all started. And from then, our beloved band director, Mr. Lionel Mackie Thomas, he came in somewhere around 72, and I was a senior at 74. So being hurt, wanted to get in the game tree. I was one of the last people to join the band program at Lincoln High School. Shout out Lincoln High School, and I started on trombone.
Okay.
And then eventually, one of my family members, Drexel Ball, who had a trumpet, his mother bought him a trumpet where I was living at in McClellanville on Society Road. He had asthma, so he wouldn't play the trumpet. So what I started doing, I started going upstairs, got it up the case and experimented with it, and then aha moment. An aha moment happened. Mr. Thomas, I took it to him, and he said, you know what, I can teach you really how to do this. And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yes. Yes.
And you have so many memories over the years.
So many memories over the years. Music I've been blessed because music has not only taken me around the world with several experiences, I've had the experience to perform with some of the greats, namely Dizzy Gillespie, namely James Brown, Fred Wesley and the New JBs, and every now and then Fred still calls me to perform with him.
Really?
Yes, Fred, if you look up Fred Wesley was, I have to say, one of the greatest funk trombone player, but he was also a fabulous jazz trombonist also. Fred is still performing around the world.
Now,
Yes.
okay, we need to talk about a very specific way that you can perform that not everybody can do. You can actually play two instruments at the same time.
Oh, yes, Frank Motley from Dizzy Gillespie's band. The precursor was this, Joey Morant, the late Joey Morant from Charleston, South Carolina. He had a trumpet that had two bells on it, but one lead pipe. And when I saw him as a kid doing that, I was like, oh my God. I didn't know that was just one horn. So moving forward to late 70s, early 80s, I got to meet Mr. Gillespie and saw his big band. Frank Motley was one of his trumpet players on his big band. Frank Motley actually did it with two trumpets. And I lost my mind. I walked up to him, Mr. Motley, that was awesome. He said, son, you want to learn how to do this? And I almost had a heart attack, but still, with Mr. Motley, I said, yes, sir. You know, small town country boy. I said, that would be something great to learn how to do. So he sat me down. He told me the logistics behind it. And scientifically, guys, the only way to do this, there are about 3 of us in the country, in the world, that can do it. But you have to use both sides of your brains simultaneously.
Well, thanks again for sticking with us here on Living Local Carolina. If you want to stay connected and check out any segments you might have missed, visit our website, wbtw.com/living-local, or scan this QR code using your phone right on the screen.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.